Hey everyone, Mrs. Norris here. So in this tutorial, what I want to do is walk you through how to complete this activity, the Digital Westward Movement ABC book. So before I get into the instructions, let's take a look at our know, understand, and do our learning outcomes. So with this activity, it should add to your knowledge so that you are able to answer the questions we have here. How justifiable is the growth of United States territory? What is the most important consequence of westward expansion? What I want you to understand is that westward movement is the story of the acquisition, exploration, and settlement of the trans-Mississippi West from the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 to the admission of California as a state in 1850. This period was marked by a strong spirit of nationalism as Americans moved westward in search of economic opportunity, abundant natural resources, and for some, religious freedom. So, with this activity, what you'll be doing is building your academic vocabulary by creating a digital ABC book of key terms related to Unit 4. So, what I want you to understand as well with the logistics of this activity is that it's an ongoing assignment, which means it's not due in a day or two, it's due by the end of the unit. So while this activity is posted, whenever you have downtime, if you finish an assignment early or you have extra time on Fridays, or whenever you have that time where you're not quite sure what you should be working on, this is the activity that you should be doing. So it's an ongoing assignment that's due at the end of the unit and should be completed in between assignments. So I'm going to continue posting assignments for you, and it's your responsibility during that quote unquote downtime you may have to work on this assignment. So let's look at the directions in detail. Every letter of the alphabet must be used unless otherwise stated. So A through Z. Okay. Use a separate Google slide for each letter. So you will be creating this in a Google slide. If you'd like to do an alternative presentation, you can create a photo book on Canva, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Each slide will have the letter, the term or name, a colorful image, a definition for the word, either from the glossary, a cited internet source, or a dictionary, and the sentence where the word first appears in the textbook, if it can be found in the textbook, and the majority of the words can, and then a citation for the definition or description. There should be an attractive and colorful title slide for the book. So again, a title slide will show me, Westward Movement ABC book by so-and-so with an attractive picture, not just a white slide with nothing changed on it. Okay, so here we have an example slide. So does yours have to look like this? No, it does not. Use your own creativity, but I know that there are some people who need a starting off point because they can't think of ideas on their own. And so that is why this example is presented to you. So we have each of the things it looks for. The letter, so in this case, it's the letter O, and obviously it should be in order, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. So this is the letter O. The term or name is John O'Sullivan, so the O comes from his last name. Okay. The definition, he's a newspaper editor, blah, blah, blah. The sentence from the textbook. And as you can see, we have the page number and then the sentence itself, the complete sentence, not just an excerpt of the sentence. And then we have a picture of this gentleman, and then we have a citation. So where I got that definition from, because his name wasn't in the back of the textbook, the glossary of the textbook, instead it was on the website that you see there. And then down at the bottom in the speaker notes, so again, these are in the speaker notes, there is a link to that citation. Okay, so, and you'll need that link anyway if you are doing a citation outside of, say, the textbook. Okay, so you're going to be graded by a rubric that has the following elements. All the letters of the alphabet are used. All the words are associated with the letters of the alphabet or about the westward movement. All the words have their definition and page number / sentence from the textbook where the word first appears, if it's applicable, meaning if the word does appear in the textbook, and most of the words do. Every letter has an image related to the term or name. All pages contain color and are neat, so it's not a jumbled mess. Remember, if I can't read it, I can't grade it. So think about that when you're doing your text choice or your font choice. Number 6, each letter has its own slide and is in alphabetical order. And then there's a title slide with the title, Westward Movement ABC book, your name, my name, and then the period that you have, my class. And then where do your words all come from? So your words all come from this list here, and there's multiple options for most of the letters. Obviously, X is only going to have 2 because there's not very many. U only has 1 because there is only one word term really related with the westward movement, but other letters have multiple options for you. And then the question will come up, do you have to do every single letter? If you do every single letter, that's a lot of work. And so you will be rewarded for doing a lot of work, but you don't have to do every single letter. Just choose one word from each letter and then, use that word. So we can kind of scroll down here. Okay, but we have, again, a bunch of options for words for each letter. Okay, so you're just going to choose one. All right, now I'm going to go back up to the top because I want to show you a couple of the links here. So first of all, if you want to do a Google slide, you're going to create your own Google slide presentation, title slide, letters, all that jazz. Okay, but if you want to do a photo book on Canva, you can create an account on Canva. Make sure you create the account so that your work is saved. So if I click on this link, it's going to take me to the Canva page. Okay, and I've given you the link to the photo book search. All right, so you can choose something for this, and I'm not going to get too much into it because not everyone is going to want to do this because it's something new. They'd rather stick with what they know for the Google slides, but I also do know that there's other people who like to try something a little bit different. Now, you're going to want to use the free options, which means they don't have the little money sign next to them. You're going to want to use one of the ones that is that's free. And also to make sure that you're changing the images so that they relate to the topic of westward movement. So for example, if you choose this one, we're not in Europe. So you're going to have to change the picture so that it relates to your own text, your topic of westward movement. Okay, so again, I'm not going to get too much into the how-tos of this. That's for your own explanation. But if this is something that you choose to do, that is an option for you if you want to get out of doing Google Docs for everything or Google Slides. Okay, now, let's look at where your definitions are going to come from. So you can do the glossary, which is this link here takes you directly to the definition from the back of the textbook. Now here's a pro tip for you, okay? And it's also going to work for trying to find the word in the text box, or I'm sorry, in the textbook. So on your keyboard, and again, I work with a Mac, so mine's going to be a little bit different. What you want to do is you want to find. You can also go to Edit on your menu bar and click on Find. Okay, and we don't want to search the web, we want to search this document. So I'm going to go ahead and click Find, and you can see if you have a Mac, that would be Command F. And then I'm going to type in someone's name. So look, you can see that I've already started typing in John O, and he doesn't show up here. Okay, I can try by his last name first since it is O. Sullivan, not there. So this means that I'm going to have to use the internet to find out who this guy was. So let's choose a different word so I can show you how this will look. I think manifest destiny. So I'm going to go back to the glossary and I'm going to type in manifest. And here is my definition. Okay, so, and it also tells me the page number, which is great for when you choose words that come from the textbook, because you'll always get the page number for the sentence as well. So if I were doing my slide right now on manifest destiny, then I would type this definition. So the part of speech, noun, the belief that the United States was destined to stretch across the continent from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, and then the page number. So this whole definition is what I would type on my slide for definition here. Okay, so again, using that find tool is going to make it a lot easier. All right. Now, let's say I start Manifest Destiny today and I finish the definition and whatnot, and now I just need to find it in the textbook and it's the next day. Okay. So if I go to the textbook, I can, now the chapters are 11 and up. Okay, 11 and up. So I'm going to start with chapter 11. And again, using that find tool, so edit, find, and I type in manifest. Okay, it has manifestation, but not manifest destiny, which is what I'm looking for. So if I want to make double sure, I can do manifest destiny. It's not there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this tab and try the next chapter, chapter 12. Okay, and I'm going to do it again. Find, and look, we have manifest destiny, but it's not the definition, which is what I am looking for. Okay, I'm sorry, the sentence. This is the standard. I'm not going to copy that. I want the sentence. Okay, so it didn't really appear there either. So let's try chapter 13. Okay, Command F to find, and we have it a number of times. We just want it the first time. So manifest destiny, we want it the first time. That's the title. I want the sentence that it appears in, so it's going to be bold. Okay, this is just the chapter title. So I'm clicking the arrow to find the word for the first time. Okay, the sentence where the word first appears, not in the standards, not in the title, but the actual sentence where the word first appears, which is going to be kind of a challenge because this is the chapter title, so it might take us a minute. I also kind of remember it was on 407, so I'm going to go there. So there's the word in the terms list, but I want the sentence. Nope, I want the sentence, not the title, not the standard, but the actual sentence. Okay, I do want to look for it in bold. So here we go. Here's my sentence. It should be the bold sentence where the word first appears for the first time. And I'm going to copy the entire sentence, not just an excerpt. So again, it went much faster, to find the word in the glossary. So if it's a word that's in the glossary, it's going to be a little bit easier to find. And then because it tells me the page number, and then using the find tool on Google in Chrome helps me as well. Okay, so again, it's going to make it so I don't have to search. All right. So when you're finding the sentence, you're finding the first time that the word appears in the sentence bold. Okay, because that's going to be the actual first time it appears. And you want to make sure that you write the complete sentence, not just an excerpt. Okay, now let's say manifest destiny, for whatever reason, didn't appear in the glossary, which would be strange because it's kind of what the whole section is about, but let's just pretend. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in manifest destiny. Okay, and I don't want to use Wikipedia because Wikipedia is not always the best. ushistory.org, maybe not so much, but Khan Academy I know is a good website that we use often at school. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, I'm going to read it. I'm going to take what I've learned from here about what the term manifest destiny means, and I'm going to use that for my definition, but now I need to cite it. Okay, so this is where your citation resource comes in. So if you're using a resource other than the textbook, then where it says a cited internet resource, if I click on that, it's going to take me to this web page here. So I'm going to go back to Khan Academy, and I'm going to go up to the web address bar, and I'm going to copy that web address. So I'm copying that web address. And then I'm going to go back to the citation machine, and where it says website, I'm going to paste, and then I'm going to search. Okay, and while it's thinking, this is the article. It was Khan Academy. It was about manifest destiny. So this is what I'm trying to cite. So I want to make sure I choose the right article for citation. I'm going to click, And here it's telling me, again, making sure that I've got the right information for the citation. Okay, I don't need to add anything else here. I can just sort of click through. And then here is the citation that I'm going to use. Okay, so it's created the citation for me. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy this, copy the citation. And then that's what I'm going to add on to my citation section of my slide. And then I also want to make sure that I include the link down in the speaker notes of my slide if that's what I'm using. If I'm using Canva and creating a photo book, I want to provide space for that link. So if I, as a teacher, want to check the link to make sure, then I can do that. Okay. And then finally, we also have the dictionary, which means for your source where it's one of the requirements is the citation source, the citation for the definition or description. In your citation section, you're going to give me, you're going to write dictionary, or you are going to write textbook. Okay. If you do anything other than the internet, where the citation box is, put dictionary.com, but make sure that you give me the link to the dictionary definition. Okay. If you use Glossary, then you can just write glossary from the textbook, and I will know that because I know which words appear in the glossary and which ones do not. So please make sure that you are citing it regardless of if you use dictionary.com or if you use the textbook, you still need to cite it. If you use dictionary.com, you still need to provide the link directly to that word so that I can double check your work to make sure you did it correctly. Okay. So again, you want to try to be as creative with this as possible, but also make sure that you are using your sources correctly. Now, if you don't find the word in the textbook, and I cannot stress this enough, I do know which words are in the textbook and which ones are not, then the sentence piece, I understand, will not be there. But there's very few words that are not in the textbook, so you want to make sure that you are not trying to be deceitful and not just using that as an excuse. So if I see that there's no sentence here, but you've cited the textbook as your source, then I'm going to know that you didn't completely do your job. So please make sure that you completely do your job. If you do the definition, that's not from the textbook. So for example, John O'Sullivan was not in the glossary from the textbook, so I did have to cite my source. Please make sure that you are being responsible and not deceitful with actually looking to see which words are in the textbook and that you can find a sentence for. Okay. So again, the biggest piece I want to stress with you is that this isn't due in a couple of days. It's not due until the end of the unit. The unit lasts usually 3 to 4 weeks. The reason why I'm not giving a specific date is because you might be watching this in various years throughout my teaching. So it may be 10 years from the day of me making this video. So I don't want to give you a date because the date might be different in 10 years. But again, just pay attention to that due date. And then remember that you have always that buffer of time for turning in late work. So getting it done by the due date is great. If you need a couple extra days, there's always until the close date, and that gives you the opportunity to turn into me your best work. So because you have some time with this, I'm expecting your best work, not your fastest work. There's no extra points for turning this in first. So please make sure that you use your time to the fullest to give me good stuff, not quick stuff. Okay. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. When it comes to, again, Canva, explore it to your best. If you don't feel comfortable, then don't use it, because that's what Google Slides is there for as an option. Okay. All right. All of that said, again, if you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, you are free to get started.